So do you want to start off with the Sixth Amendment?
Yeah. I cheated. I looked ahead. I do remember this is the speedy trial one. This is basically the one that guarantees you a right to a jury of your peers, right?
That is, yep, exactly. And I'm going to tell you, as I'm reading through all this old-timey text, I don't know why. I think maybe my brain started to get a little fried from just reading writings from the 17 and 1800s. It was very funny to see in old English writing the word speedy. That feels like a very modern word.
It kind of does feel a little weird, huh?
Yeah. I saw that word and I was like, that's not a... They didn't write that. No, James Madison didn't use the word speedy. Like expeditiously, right? Shouldn't that be the word?
Yeah, it feels a little lowbrow for the Constitution.
Yes, it does. But I think one of the... So we all know it's a right to a speedy trial. It's a right to a trial of your peers. It's a right to be tried where the law was broken.
So there's a couple things I could see where this might have come about from. The right to be tried where it happened. Like that's... I'm guessing there's probably a bunch of cases where people are being shipped off to England to be able to face crime or face the trials for whatever their supposed crimes were. The speedy trial thing, how often were people probably just sitting around in a prison cell waiting months, years, decades even?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, this idea of indefinitely holding people.
Right. If you got a tricky case and you don't know how to do it, we'll just let it sit there until we figure it out.
Exactly. And, one of the, specifically, it's that a lot of the things going on in Massachusetts, New York, Virginia, these places with a lot of trade, is that a lot of times smuggling was they would want to try people in the admiralty courts without juries. And that was obviously not where the jurisdiction was. I mean, smuggling's not a naval crime.
No, and they're not naval members even so. Like you're not subject to the USMJC.
But the Sixth Amendment, it's really cool because it talks about the speedy trial. We all know that part. That's like the one I think most people know about it. Public trial, that's basically a way for the public to audit that the trial is just. And so if it's not, people have the right to protest. People have their First Amendment rights to do as they see fit.
Is this the one too that has the thing in there about being able to confront your accuser?
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
yeah. So it has this concept of the confrontation clause. And what's cool is the confrontation clause comes not from a U.S. example, it actually comes from the trial of this gentleman, Sir Walter Raleigh, in England, and it was in 1603. And basically, a lord had written a letter accusing, and he got convicted on this, Sir Walter Raleigh of committing a couple different crimes. And the jury convicted him, and everybody afterwards was like, what? No, you have a right to face your accuser. You have a right for the accuser to be examined.
Just based off of a letter, he was convicted, is it? Okay.
Just based off a letter. And this comes down to something called the compulsory process clause, and it empowers defendants to use the court's power to obtain witnesses, and to use the court's power to ensure they have a fair chance to have defense present. And it stops that from the prosecution having control of all the evidence. It basically creates discovery. And a lot of legal scholars that I read here said one of the most important parts of our Constitution, of our whole law system, is the guarantee of assistance of counsel, the idea that you have a right to a defense.
Is that part of here too? Yeah, it is.
It's part of here too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, Amendment 6 is doing a lot of work here.
Dude, Amendment, yeah.
Right?
Now, it is important to note that like the Sixth Amendment, a lot of the stuff is already codified. Like, you already assumed to have all this. But it was seen as this big and important add-on to the U.S. Constitution that we solidified, that this exists no matter where you are in the country, no matter what new states form, no matter what state constitutions change. You're going to have the right to a speedy trial. You're going to have a right to all these very things today we just think are automatic. A right to counsel, a right to speedy trial, a right to a public trial, a right to a jury, a right to a jury made of the people of the locality where the crime was committed. So you can't bring in new juries who are just going to vote for you.
Right. And you also can't just stick you into another jurisdiction where you have a better chance of a favorable ruling.
Yeah. And that's the Sixth Amendment. Now, as a Bostonian, one of the most recent prolific Sixth Amendment issues that popped up was the Safaris case after the Boston bombing, where his attorney argued he would not be able to have a fair trial in Boston, because that's where he committed his crime. And they were like, no, the Sixth Amendment, show me where it's a violation.
Yes.
Don't commit crimes against people and then expect like not to get in trouble. Like, what do you?
Don't when you bomb an entire city, you're gonna have to face a little bit of repercussions.
Yeah,
like it's almost like this is protection for them too. Like they get to judge the guy who.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, like, that was very bizarre to me. I'm like, you're arguing the exact thing the Constitution's saying you should do.
Can we also just? I want to throw Madison some love for just how tight this one is written. This one is just it flows really well. This is just a beautifully written amendment, in my opinion.
He is. The more you study Madison, the more you like Madison. Like the more you're like, I like this dude.
He reminds me of Pink Floyd. Like his compositions are simple but elegant and beautiful.
That's the first time James Madison has ever been compared to Pink Floyd in human history.
Probably the last two.